Most recently for my game, I have been working on a visual prototype. And the idea there is that I'm making something that is at the upper limits of what I can do for creating a beautiful game, a beautiful environment. And then I'm going to put it out to the world, see if people like it, and basically iterate based on attention I get from it, feedback I get on it, and just keep exploring, is there a way I can make a visually compelling game? And then from there, bring in the mechanics that I've already developed and make it a full game. So I'm very excited. I'm really enjoying working on it. It really got me thinking today about the difference between, I guess, breadth and depth. Maybe that's not the right term, but when we're talking about content in a game, usually when a player says that they're interested in content or something lacks content, there isn't enough content for how much it costs, what they're actually saying is time that it takes them to play a game, to feel like they saw everything in the game. And the reason I've been thinking about this a lot is because I'm putting time and effort into adding details right now to my environment that make the space feel more alive. Things like having lights in the windows of the small buildings in the distance and making those lights turn on when it gets to nighttime and turn off when it gets to day, and having them not all turn on and turn off at the exact same time, so adding a little extra scripting logic to control that. I don't really mind taking time for things like that. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, when I think about what content is in that perspective, like how much time does it add to a player's experience, I would say these kind of details of the environment add none. Zero is the answer, nada. This is not content. This is not something that's going to make a player feel like the game is bigger, fuller, or that they can spend more time playing it. What I'm actually doing is creating a more pleasant experience for the time that they do spend in it, and that might equate to some increase in how much money they're willing to spend per hour of entertainment in the game if it's really beautiful. But I would say more realistically, I can't talk anymore. Like what the difference is going to be by putting the time into this effort isn't how long the player plays it. It isn't how much I can charge. It's just increasing whether people are going to give the game a shot at all. So you can argue that there's like some economics, whatever, graph of the more play time per cost, the more someone's willing to buy the game. And I would say that's true to an extent, but there is like a minimum floor of visual beauty and liveliness of the world before that even comes into play. So what I'm doing will not increase the value of my game. It won't increase how much I can charge for it. It will just increase how much people are willing to buy it regardless of the price. And that's not like a guarantee, like if I charge way too much, obviously they're not gonna buy it. But it's saying if I have an appropriate price for my game, for how much time it takes to play it, how much time of entertainment you get out of it, I'm just increasing how many people would buy it. From zero, which is like the basis, you have to assume no one, and then you have to work your way up to some, right? I don't have real numbers for this to say like, oh, each hour I spent on adding visual appeal and depth to my game is so much in percentage of people willing to buy it. It's not like that. And it's also something that you have to be mindful of. You're gonna have to take stuff out too. At least for me, I'm putting a bunch of stuff in that I think is cool, that I think is gonna look interesting, but it comes at a cost of performance, it comes at a cost of file size for the game. And right now what I'm trying to do is just make it as magnificent as I can while still being able to run on my computer, which I am still having to do a few adjustments in what would be the most beautiful so that the camera can move without frame dropping, basically. But adding in as much as I can, and then some of it's gonna have to come out. So there is no direct translation really of how much time to how much I can raise the floor of people willing to try out my game above 0. But yeah, it's interesting, it's fun. It's like a different kind of content. I could see in a certain type of game that what I'm doing would be considered content, to be clear. Like adding interesting environments for your character to explore in a game about your character exploring is content. But in my case, what I'm doing is I'm creating set dressing for a world that your character never goes into. You can only see it from the limitation of a small play space. And I'm just making that feel more alive and interesting. So creating, like houses in the distance that actually have lights that turn on and off based on if people are home and need their lights on. Ships that bob on the water, like no one's gonna go to the ships, so adding them there doesn't add content. It just makes it look more interesting. And I'm hoping that I can add a lot of content to my game in the future. It's absolutely something that I think has to wait. And anything I can do now that can make my environment more beautiful, since we're not changing environments, it's just one place that the player goes to and exists for the entirety of the game. Any work that I put into this is just gonna multiply the value of everything else I do later, because that beautiful environment is just always gonna be there. Once I set it up, that's what the player sees, that's what the player enjoys. If I can make this enjoyable, it's gonna make the rest of the game a lot more pleasant. So it's definitely worth my time, but it's not content. It's not gonna make someone play longer. It's not gonna make someone feel like it's worth more money than what you would guess on average for like time spent to dollars spent. I've seen some like people commenting in games on Steam pages where it's like, I spent 2 hours on this game and I spent $25, which makes an average cost for entertainment of $12.50, and that's more than I'd pay for a movie ticket, which, I mean, I guess. But yeah, I understand, like, that's how consumers are seeing it, and so that's what I have to work within. So yeah, that's what I've been up to today, that's what I've been thinking about. I'm curious what kind of things would be considered content in my game. So I'm making a life sim. You are knitting as a way to earn money. You improve your knitting skill, you unlock new knitting recipes, you craft new objects, which you can either sell for money or you can wear them and then you're like decorating your character. You can buy different kinds of yarn that would have different color patterns. And so then it's like a multiplier on all the different things you learn to knit. You can make them in all these different colors. And there's gonna be a little bit of space in the environment to walk around. But I think like the big thing to do, because it's like a life sim, is buy furniture from a catalog and interact with things in the world, things from your catalog, things in the world, and exploring the skill tree related to knitting. That's like where the content is. So if I'm trying to add content to my game in the future, it's gonna look like creating a 3D mesh for a new knittable project that the player can wear, and then also giving details like when would you unlock this, how would you unlock this, how much does it cost in yarn to make it, how much does it sell for in money, details like that. Or maybe creating a new interaction. So, well, now the player, if you click on, I don't know, let's say a tree stump you can sit on it. And that's just like a new extra thing that you can do with your character in the world, is you can walk around and you can find tree stumps. Maybe you can take a picture when you're sitting there, and that could make it more interesting and worthwhile. And yeah, it's just things like that I would think are content, rather than beautiful set dressing that the player will discover. They'll be like, oh, the lights turned on, that looks so nice. They'll like discover that on day one though. And then it's just there. And it looks nice, and it makes it so each time it's the evening and they see the lights glowing in the distance, they'll be like, that looks good, I'm happy to be in this game. But it's not new anymore, the way that content should be. So yeah, curious what people think. What would content look like beyond what I've already mentioned in my game? What does content look like in your game? Is it dramatically different? Is it more environmental decoration that suffices as content for the type of game you're making? What type of game is that? I don't know. Tell me about it. So yeah, that's all for today. Okay, bye.